All right, guys, so today is the day. We're gonna be working on the car again. I'm gonna be doing a few things that I've been kind of being lazy on. If you notice, the power steering reservoir hose seems to have a hole in it. Doesn't leak through the bottom, so I know that this protective sleeve is sealed at the end. The hole or the puncture must be somewhere in the middle, so I went ahead, bought the replacement. Gotta get that changed out, got new fluid. Also have the valve cover gaskets, and I will be painting these in wrinkle black for now. It'll just help tone everything down. Want to keep it as neutral as possible. And again, I think it is going to go really well once I do get the engine bay sprayed to have some contrast for between, you know, a gloss to something matte. So we're going to get started with that. Today we're going to take the valve covers off first, get those painted, hopefully have them dry throughout the day, and then I'll go ahead and do the reservoir hose while that dries. So the reason why the car hasn't been moving, I really haven't mentioned it much, is that the fuel pump went about 2 weeks ago. I was out with my wife, went to some groceries, visited the in-laws, you know, got Rita and did all that stuff, all the fun stuff that you want to do on a nice sunny day during quarantine. We went ahead and did it, and I realized that the pump was actually whining most of the time. Right towards the end, my dash stopped working. None of the needles moved. It could be a few things, but I'm thinking that the pump shorted and it's connected to that same fuse as the dash cluster. So we're gonna go ahead and get this stuff done first, but I want to see if I can get to the fuel pump, disconnect the old one, put a fuse again, and then see if it's just the fuel pump that's shorted in a weird way. I didn't really take a bump, but if not, I'm gonna have to go ahead through all the wiring pertaining to the cluster and the pump. So yeah, that's where we're sitting today. Let's get started with the valve covers first so we can get them clean, painted, and have them dry for the, you know, for installation. I have the new gaskets, everything is OEM, and I also got some goodies for the GTR front end mock-up that I'm trying to do. So I'll get that out soon. Hopefully we can also trim this, make it fit the size, and hopefully get it all done before the day ends. So yeah, let's get started.
Perfect. Perfect.
so I just finished up taking both valve covers off, took both gaskets off, went ahead and cleaned it like you saw in the video. It was a real pain to get the throttle bottom to move far back enough without taking the whole strut bar off. So I had to wiggle it, and it wasn't the greatest, but it was able to come out. So I'm going to go ahead, clean these, degrease them, make sure that I tape up anything that I don't want to get painted. That way we could just leave them drying while we go ahead and change the power steering pump, the hose that I showed you. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the cleaning, lay some paint, and then get right back to the rest of the hoses. For a beginner, I guess. They're still a little bit wet, so it has some shining spots that haven't quite wrinkled, but it has a 24-hour curing period, so we're probably just gonna set these aside as the rattle can is black. And I started to work on the reservoir. I got a little bit happy and forgot to record, so all I did was just take the bottle off the actual mount, dumped whatever the reservoir had left in it, and then just disconnected the hoses, and then had so I caught everything so it doesn't gum up the driveway. But I'm probably gonna end up getting different clamps than these, because I think these pierce through the holes, and that's the reason that it's leaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the band clamps. I have one around here somewhere, but it's essentially just like this one. Making progress. So we have the hose out. The reservoir is essentially just being held by the return. We're gonna replace it with an original RB25 Nissan hose. Comes pretty well wrapped, and then it just has the ends capped. Let's take these off. Now we'll just install these with a different clamp and fill the reservoir back up. guys. So I got everything done. I finished the hose with the reservoir. I couldn't find the lower clamp, like the one that I did up top, but I just left this one. This one was the one that was leaking. Filled up the reservoir. I still have to turn the car on and go ahead and make sure that I steer, make sure that there's no bubbles in the system, and then add some more to top it off. But I realized I don't have any gasket maker, and there are some Half Moon, these pieces here, these rubber pieces, they're actually silicone on the underside, I guess either from factory or somebody who did the job before. So I want to take these off, clean all the whole surface, put some more gasket maker to make sure that I'm not leaking behind the head, and then be able to assemble everything. So in the meantime, what I am going to do is check out the fuel pump. I'm going to go ahead, disconnect everything. I want to be able to take it out, see how the filter is, and disconnect everything, because I think the fuel pump is actually shorted and it's blowing the fuse that controls the dash instruments, so all the clusters, all the gauges and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead, disconnect this, replace the fuse up front, see if there's any change, and if there is, then that means that the fuel pump has been giving me, or is indicative of the fuse problems that we're getting up front. So I'm going to go ahead, take this all apart, figure out how to take out the hoses, and then pull the old fuel pump out. See, I was able to pull the bracket off from inside the tank. It has a hook. The fuel pump essentially sits right here. It had like a weird clamp here. I guess they didn't place it the right way, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure that that's taken care of when we do put the new one on. But I did want to share, this is the fuel pump. It was a Walbro. It was the same GSS 342 that I purchased, so it's a replacement. But look at this filter. This is disgusting. Horrible. So I ordered a new installation kit, so it'll come with a new filter, essentially the whole universal kit, a new wiring harness, because this is atrocious. I don't know who prides themselves in this masterpiece they call work, but this is just bare inside the tank, waiting to be shorted somehow. So what we're gonna do is, this is the original wire, the original harness plug, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna cut this in a decent length. I know that the universal plug actually is a lot longer than these 2 inches they left on the old one. So I'll have enough room to be able to plug it in and have slack, but we'll definitely take care of all of these open connections with nothing. I know that heat shrink doesn't hold up too well in gasoline or oil, so they tend to break apart, but you can use one of those connectors, the butt connectors, and not leave the cable so exposed to fuel. So this is unfortunately going to stay like this. There's not much that I can do. The trunk got a little bit wet, and I was going to put the battery back on to check if the fuses would stop blowing now that the fuel pump is disconnected. But if there's a spark, So yeah, that's gonna stay like that for now. The fuel pump will be here by Saturday. So now that I have everything apart and I figured out how to do it, I'll just pop the new one back in, solder the joints or use, you know, butt connectors, make sure everything is nice and sealed, and then we'll install everything back. I also wanted to mention, I'll be changing some of the vacuum lines, some of the things that go to the boost gauges in the interior, as they're notorious to fail, give you false readings. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace some of that. I have, you know, quite a few feet of different gauge line. So I'm just gonna replace the ones that are, you know, on the top, the easy ones, and I'll get the ones underneath when I actually change all my heater core hoses, which I have to swap on the car. So that's just waiting for the plenum to come in, because then when I actually do end up going that route, I'll be able to get to the underside and get all the heater core hoses, all of those accents and stuff like that all taken care of at the same time as I'll put the plenum in. So yeah, unfortunately, I think that's gonna be it for today. I know we didn't really get anything done, so to speak. But you know, it's always nice to get out, work on the car. It's been about 2 weeks since I even took the cover off, so it was nice to go ahead, dig deep, and you know, get her running again. I'm hoping to be able to make it out by Sunday. There's a little something that is being put together by some people I know from Philly, so yeah, ideally this will be done for this Sunday, so I can go ahead and join the cruise, you know, get out, stretch its legs, have some fun, meet people, and essentially just share the car. You know, that's the purpose of this build. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching it for this long. I know I've only had like 4 or 5 videos, but really eager to share the process with the car with all of you guys. So if you want to see anything in specific, please feel free to leave a comment. Any suggestions are appreciated. Anything you might like to see or don't like to see, anything is valuable. That way I can also know what you guys might like. So yeah, have a good one, stay safe, peace.